Hello everyone, this is Eric and welcome to my strange and mad ideas. Here we go, episode 3. We are back in the cave base, and as you can see I've done quite a bit of work between episodes. First thing you'll notice is this dirt looks a lot different. That's because it's actually grass paths. I brought some grass down into here and it spread to all of the dirt in the cave, and then I smoothed it out with a shovel, and I think this looks a lot nicer. You can tell me what you think in the YouTube comment section below. See over here we have a super basic automatic bamboo farm set up. And if we come over here, we have next to the enchanting setup, we have a sugarcane farm of the same design. And both of these have been producing quite a bit. I've actually emptied out the bamboo farm chest a couple times already. And then right here, we have a super basic cactus farm. This thing doesn't even have any redstone in it. It's just when the cactus grows next to the block, it'll break instantly, and the item will fall into the hopper. And it produces very slowly, but also passively. You just saw it happen right there, if you were observant. Last time we saw it, this section of the cave wasn't even finished, but I dug it out, I finished it up, and down here I put just a really small wheat farm. This thing only produces 26 wheat per harvest, but it's enough to keep my cow farm going. And with the surplus seeds, I can throw them into this trash can, which uses a hopper to feed all the seeds into a composter, and I get just a little bit of bone meal back, which is nice. Alright, next I want to show you how these automatic farms work here that I've installed in the wall. And since you can't really see the redstone, I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to hop into the creative test world. So here's the basic redstone circuit behind the farm. It's an old school design and it's super cheap to build. As you can see, we have a comparator taking output from this furnace, and the redstone signal comes up around into this redstone line right here. This redstone line doesn't look like it should be powering these pistons, but it is. It's just kind of powering it in a weird way. And that weird way is called quasi-connectivity. And it used to be a bug in the Java edition of the game, but the developers decided that it was super useful and they turned it into a feature. And so since these pistons are quasi-powered, they're acting as block update detectors. And I know this sounds super technical just with the terminology alone, but it's actually not that difficult to understand. These pistons just haven't realized that they're powered yet. And if you update them, they'll realize. And they'll say, hey, I should be powered. And this works on any side of the piston, including on the front. You can use it to push blocks. But you'll notice this piston over here is pointed in a different way. And that's what turns this block update detector switch into an actual circuit. This is the reset switch for the circuit. When the gravel pops up, the comparator will no longer be able to read a signal from the furnace. All the redstone will turn off. All the pistons will come back. The gravel will fall back down, and the entire redstone signal will reset, allowing it to fire off again once that repeater turns on. And so the next step in this farm designing process is to get the redstone circuit over there to actually do something. And so I planted some bamboo 1 block below the pistons, and if this bamboo grows, it'll update the pistons and the pistons will break it. But this isn't really a farm, is it? This is just something that breaks bamboo. I have to collect it somehow, put it in a chest for me to pick up later. And the first thing you would think of is hoppers. But I wanted to make this farm cheap, and using those 7 or 8 hoppers per farm, that's a lot of iron. I didn't want to use all that iron. So the obvious next choice is to just put a water stream right here next to the dirt. Let it flow on down, and of course there's none demonstrating it now, but a lot of the time when this breaks, it'll just land on the edge of the dirt block. And if you have your water stream down here, it will not fall into the water stream, and you've just lost that piece of bamboo. And I knew a very interesting property of sugarcane. If I just plant it down here and show you, it does not break in flowing water like other crops might. And so I was wondering about bamboo too. And so bamboo has two states right here. You can see it has this kind of sapling stage and this stalk stage. And so through my testing, I found out that the sapling will break in flowing water, but the stalk will not, which is super helpful. So I can just put the water stream right next to the bamboo stalks, and then any of those pieces that just fall right on the edge will still fall into the water and be swept right on into the hopper. So I think this actually might be a lossless design. Especially if you take the extra step to box everything in. And that way if the items fly in some weird direction, because sometimes they do, if they fly in some weird direction, they'll just hit a wall and still bounce right on into the water stream. So this right here is a working farm. It will break the bamboo, it will collect all of it, this chest will start to fill up, but we need to future-proof this. Because when this chest fills up, this hopper will also fill up, and then the items will just be floating here on top of the hopper. So over here we have a very basic future-proof circuit. I have a comparator reading out of this chest. As the chest fills up, the comparator is reading a stronger signal from it, but we're using this comparator for its main function, to compare redstone signals. And this redstone block here on the side of it is giving out max power. And so for this comparator to put any output out, this chest also needs to be putting out max power, which means it needs to be completely full. So even this 61, that's not enough. That needs to be 64. But once this comparator is giving an output, it'll power this little redstone line. And all that will do is make it where this circuit, the original redstone circuit, won't reset automatically. When this chest fills up, we can demonstrate that here. So this chest is now completely full. This comparator is giving an output, and this signal up here was not allowed to reset as it usually would, and these pistons are left extended. They're blocking the bamboo from even growing. But once we take stuff out of this chest, the redstone line up here will turn off because the comparator is no longer giving its output, and it will allow the original circuit to reset like normal. So I hope you enjoyed that little look into the redstone farm designing process. But that's not really all that I have to show off. As you can see, my gear looks a little bit different. For one, it's all shiny. And yes, it does mean that I did a lot of enchanting between episodes. And no, I did not get the experience from that little cow farm. To see how I got all this good gear, we're going to take a little short hike through the woods. So between episodes, I was doing some branch mining. I came across a cave, followed the cave around, and at the end of the cave there was a zombie dungeon. Well, not really at the end, kind of part way through. But I marked down the coordinates of the zombie dungeon, came up here to the surface, and I have this hole in the ground leading right down to it. If we take this super safe 50 block drop right down, we can see how the farm works. My setup down here is super quick and dirty, but I have storage, I have an enchanting setup, and I have a good source of XP. So let's show you how this works. Over here is where the original zombie dungeon was. You can see the spawner there in the middle of the room. and it's super dark in here, and as long as I'm within 16 blocks of that spawner, it will continually spawn these zombies. And so I added a little bit of water to sweep them away, and they all go into this one water channel down here, and eventually they will get swept down into one hole. And down there I can sit there and wait on them to build up. When they build up, I hit them a couple times with my sword, and I get lots of experience. So that's how I've been getting my XP, and then when I do, I come up here to this enchanting setup. This is a second one. That one in my base is still there. But I come over here and I can grab some stuff and enchant. And as you can see, I've already done quite a lot of enchanting. I have some gear down here along the bottom, and this will be the gear that I use to fight the dragon. Full protection, good sword, infinity on the bow, everything you might need. And I know right now this hole in the ground doesn't really look very good, but it's worked for me so far, and I have ideas to make it look really cool. And we'll work on that in the next episode. What I want to do this episode is finish off the cave base. And I know what you're thinking, it looks pretty done to me. And you'd be right, it is pretty much done on the inside. There's just one more thing I need to do, and that's this door. I put in this piston door like day one, and it's alright, but I don't like this system with the levers. For one, if I come outside and then close it, and while I'm out here I die and I end up in there, then I'm stuck. That lever in there doesn't work. I'd rather have a button that works either way. And if we come down here to my redstone chest, you can see I already have some supplies ready. I'm gonna take these out, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I have actually a kind of fun idea for this door. And so, you know, I could just put a button, put a pulse extender in using some comparators, and all would be well and good. But this is kind of a secret door. Look at it when it's closed. This just looks like any other little decorated cave you might find. And you flick the lever and the back of it opens up. So I want this to, you know, sound like a secret door. And we're going to work in this space here to make this door just a little bit better. I had to dig this out a little more, but I got most of the redstone installed now. Over here I have a little comparator decay circuit, and this will act as a pulse extender. I can show you from right here. So I have a button on the other side of this wall here and one down there, in both places where the levers used to be. And when I press the button, it'll activate this circuit and deactivate that redstone torch, just for a short amount of time, but longer than a usual button press. Then if we come out here, you can see when I press the button, it opens long enough for me to get through and closes behind me. And so I could just do that, and that'd be super simple. A little boring though, right? See, I have some note blocks set up in here because I have something a little more fun in mind. So you notice right here on where this button comes in, it splits out. One line goes over here to this part that operates the door, but this side goes over here. The idea for this is I want those note blocks to play when you hit this button right here, but not when you hit the button on the inside. This is going to play the secret door tune from Legend of Zelda. And in case you haven't heard it before, this is what that sounds like. When we find the secret door, we will get the sound, but we don't need that when we're leaving, because it's not a secret anymore. So, it'll just let us leave, just like normal. That is so fun, I love that. And it's really not that hard, that's 8 note blocks. They are on clay blocks to make the flute instrument. If you look on the right hand side, it has all the information about the note block. This one's set to note 12. That one's set to note 3. And I have a little schematic in front of me, and I just did a little bit of playing around in creative. And it helps to have a little bit of understanding of music to know how this works, because I took the line notes of the music and I converted it into Minecraft instrument note block numbers, these note numbers that are on the side of the screen there, and kind of piece it together, and I had to play with the repeater timings to get the beat right. But now, it works amazingly. So I can just close this back off, and I'd say that this cave base is now done. This is a good starter base. It's got some furnaces, got a bunch of crafting tables, got a place to sleep, an enchanting setup, a few basic farms. I've filled out the cave nicely. I think that this is a functional starter base. And so now, moving on into future episodes, we'll be working on projects outside of this cave. Alright, I think that's going to wrap this episode up. I have finished off this base, and I'm going to finish off the episode with that. I still love that door. I'm going to love every time I'm coming into my base now, hearing that sound. Doodle-doodle-doodle-doo. You found the door. Alright everyone, I want to thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you all in the next episode, but until then, peace out.